Hare Krishna devotees, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I'd like to especially welcome His Grace, HG Prabhu, all the way from Australia to give us his association. Thank you, Prabhuji, for coming. And I'd like to dedicate tonight's program for my Guru Maharaj's health. I don't know if any of you know, my Guru Maharaj has always been having health issues, but right now it's getting almost like a crisis. He's again back in the hospital. He has only one kidney and that's failing, so he's going on dialysis, and devotees are trying everything to stabilize him with all the doctors. And then if everything works out okay, plan is to take him to Maya because that's where his heart is. So please request all of you to, if you can, just pray for his recovery, or at least stabilize, because the health issues are just unbelievable. And he's very determined to fulfill the instructions given to him by Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada gave him many instructions, and that's the only reason he's here, because he's very determined to fulfill all these desires. Especially one of the biggest instructions he gave him was to develop the Mayapur TOVP temple, and that is scheduled for 2026. So praying to Lord Nrsingadev, Guru Maharaj is around, and that's his desire, because he wants to fulfill that mission. So with that said, I will ask HG Prabhu to take over. Thank you, Prabhuji, for coming all the way from Australia and giving us your very cherished association.
Thank you, Prabhu, for hosting the program and for helping us.
Hare Krishna, everybody. I just want to say a few words about Prabhu so that you understand where he comes from. And he has been serving Srila Prabhupada for more than 40 years now. And he started like a young boy, went to study in Amsterdam, and this is where he met the devotees. And as every person that has a connection with Krishna, Krishna makes an impact in their life. And he decided to join the temple, and he was finishing his masters in art and design and all that. And he was almost graduating, and then he decided, I will take all my dissertation, I'm giving your secret out, and put it in the bathroom, in the bathtub. Just melt everything. Because he said that if he goes out in this world, if he has his degree and everything, what will happen? He will go back to normal life. And he dedicated his life by giving up the whole thing that he has done. And his parent was not very happy about that, I'm sure. And I had the good fortune to meet him in South Africa more than maybe 30 years ago, something like that. And he has been serving the temple in Mauritius as well, and then in Durban, and also in India. Has been spent a lot of time in India as well. And now he is mostly the head pujari for the past 15 years in Brisbane, Australia, and where he served the devotees and also do a lot of how do you say that, yagnas and You know, in our life there is everything from birth to death, and he helped the devotees to go through all these from death, taking the ashes, go to several parts of the India to do prayers. And we would like to thank you for supporting the devotees and also to come here to give us your association.
Just
Hari
one
Bol.
second. Let's say one Hare Krishna Mahamantra to welcome Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you very much for the glorious introduction. The total credit has to go to my Guru Maharaj. Without him, I'm nothing.
Yes, he is a disciple of Giriraj Swami. And he just came back to serve him for the past 1 month. And I think some of you have seen the poem that he wrote. And he wrote about more than maybe, 300, 500 poems. And I told you, you have to publish it in a little book. Maybe you can share it with us as well.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Nothing but chant. And then, okay. And we'll do a little bit of chanting for 2 minutes, and then we'll start this message. You guys enjoy Radha Madhava. It's a very beautiful prayer. Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari. Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Acharya Asatosa Shri Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Acharya Asatosa Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Nanda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Ramacharya Shri Laharidasa Thakur Ki ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Remisika Hoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Vidhana Sri Sangora Bhakta Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Chamakun Radhakun Kirimvarana Ki Vrindavana Dhama Ki Gunadama Ki Savadeva Dhama Ki Charinatapuri Dhama Ki Sangamahi Jamuna Mahi Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Sankirtani Yagna Ki Yadmadanga Ki Sama Vaita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gora Brahmanandi. All glories to the Assembly God. All glories to the Assembly God. All glories to the Assembly God. All glories to Shri Guru. Shri Guru. Hare Krishna. Our talk today will be a continuation from a class that we had last night. If you were not present at the class last night, I'll just be giving a quick breakdown of that class, and then from there we'll continue. It's a flow into this evening. Last night we discussed from the Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23. We discussed and we read from the Bhagavatam the 9 processes of devotional services. And in the text 23 and 24 was a reply to the question that was posed in text 22 by Hiranyakashipu. And in essence, Hiranyakashipu was asking his son, Shri Prahlad Maharaj, what was the culmination of all the knowledge and lessons he had received throughout his education. That was the synopsis of text 22. And then in text 22, Prahlad Maharaj replied, and he said, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Satyam Atma Nivedana. Is that right? Atma Nivedana. Yeah, that's the one that I always lack. We have a bit of all of these from time to time. But we singled out, of the 9 processes, we singled out Archana. Is that right? Because we were in a home, and in that home they had very beautiful deities, and we spoke about Archana, Archavigraha, and everything related to deity worship. And we also discussed that just by purely of the 9 processes, if we purely practice one of the processes in perfection, we could attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead's shelter at the end of this life. This will be a continuation of the Archana. Yeah. And in essence, our conclusion at the end of last night's talk was that by serving the deity, it removes impersonal consciousness and helps us to understand that Krishna is a person and that the deity is a person as well. I just want to read out a ISKCON mission statement of worshipping the deity in ISKCON. Deity worship in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, is a significant part of their worship of Lord Krishna, who they believe is the Supreme Being. The deities are a representation of the Lord's personal form and are made according to instructions in the Vedic text and installed in temples with elaborate ceremonies. The worship process is said to allow devotees to directly have proper contact with the Lord's transcendental form and develop the relationship with Him. I just want to read a verse related to this in the Bhagavad Gita, and that is chapter 9, text 3-4. And it says, Mam mana bhava mad bhakto mad yahi mam namaskuru. Mam aivasyashi yukta vedam atmanam mad parayanaha. I think a few of you are familiar with the steps and the translation. Everybody please repeat. Engage your mind.
Engage your mind.
Always in thinking of me.
Always thinking of me.
Offer obeisances and worship me.
And worship me.
Being completely absorbed in me,
Being completely absorbed in me.
surely you will come to me.
Surely you will come to me.
So to make this text, engage your mind, always in thinking of me, offer obeisances and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. In order to facilitate the steps, Srila Prabhupada has very kindly introduced deity worship into ISKCON. And Prabhupada had a very, very high standard, especially when he established the worship of Shri Radha Krishna, Rukmini Dwarkadish in the Los Angeles Mandir. Prabhupada said that the rest of the world in ISKCON has to follow the standards of LA. Very high standard. So, how did Prabhupada help us fulfill the understanding of always meditating on the Lord, thinking of the Lord, by introducing these beautiful deities, especially in home worship? Yet, there's always Prabhupada was very, very regulated in everything. Everything had to be regulated. And when things fling out, we can bring them back through the regulation. Then they fling out again sometimes, and we regulate them and we bring them back. He did the same with the deity worship, and he has established 3 very essential principles for deity worship. Anybody can think what these 3 principles are?
Cleanliness, punctuality, and cleanliness, punctuality, and
S.
S.
Yes. S-T. And steadiness.
Steadiness. Right.
These are the 3 principles when we in Brisbane and we sort of engage new Brahmins, new pujaris. We always we train them with the understanding that they're beginners and they don't know anything. You have to start from a clean slate with them. Because you have to give the training, not just our mood, but Prabhupada's standard and Prabhupada's mood, and you have to imbibe that mood. And when it flings out, we bring it back and we call him in and we remind him. It's all done from the scripture, from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. It's all done for them to understand that this is very serious business. And deity worship is very, very serious business. If you neglect the deity, if you don't regulate or follow, you will get into trouble. So these 3 principles, I want to discuss them in detail. Cleanliness, punctuality, and steadiness. So by cleanliness has 2 aspects of it. One is called muchi, and one is called suchi. Yes. I have one son, Radhisham. When he was small, he was always very, loved the mud, and I used to call him Muchiwala. Yeah. But Muchi and Suchi is very, very important aspects of understanding deity worship. What's the definition of Muchi?
I'm good.
Yes. And yes.
Is external and internal?
Yes. External and internal. Internal and external. Muchi means a contaminated physically or a contaminated consciousness. Yeah. And Suchi.
Internal and external.
Yes. It means clean and pure, clean in body and pure in consciousness. But aspects around the deity worship and objects around the deity worship falls in the same area. It can be Muchi or Suchi. So what I wanted to do at a later stage, just to help you improve your deity worship, we'll read out a list of situations, and the audience should call out Muchi or Suchi. Some sort of controversial, other aspects are sort of questionable. It's like, for me it's Muchi, but for you it's Suchi. Or for me it's Suchi, and you will say, no, Prabhu, it's Muchi. I can see it's Muchi. That, and the questions that I have drawn up is all the instances and the actual situations I see in the temple with new pujaris. They're the same situations I'm going to present to you. We'll do that at the later stage. So, for Archana or Puja, we have to be Suchi both in mind and in body. Before the puja, we have to take a full shower, and then to clear the mind, we have to chant some mantras. What would be the main mantra to chant? The main mantra to chant before you do worship or puja, or Arjuna or the Archa Vigraha, is to chant a round of Hare Krishna mantra. I tell my pujaris, don't come to the temple unless you've chanted one line. If you haven't, you come and chant it before you do the puja. Because it clears up inauspiciousness around you. Mama is very powerful. It isn't just the Lord in the form of the Holy Name. It's about vibration. It's about mood. We don't understand the power of the Hare Krishna mantra, and we won't understand it until the time of death. We'll see how magical it is. Completely. So, it's best to chant a full round before the puja. Otherwise, we can chant some other prayers. Praise to the spiritual master, praise to Srila Prabhupada, and if you run in late with the puja, you can chant one simple prayer 3 times. Everybody repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you. You are all Suchi. And now we can begin. So what we're going to do perhaps is just speak a little bit more about the process of cleanliness, and before you can start any puja, what's the first thing you have to do after you've completed prayers and chanting? What happens next? Before you can touch any paraphernalia or do any arti? You do Ajman. This cup is called Ajman. It's a little brass spoon and a cup. If you're not familiar with that. And there's an abridged version and there's unabridged. Abridged version means it's just normal arti. So I'll teach you how to do this. You always first take the spoon in the right hand and you put 3 drops and you wash and you throw that aside. Then you put the spoon in this hand and you take 3 drops and you wash and you put aside. And you take another 3 drops, 1, 2, 3, and you serve. And you chant the mantra. Everybody, Om, Govinda, Govindaya Namaha. This hand is contaminated. And you wash it. And you take another 3 drops and you sip. And you chant the mantra. Om, Madhavaya Namaha. And you take another 3 drops. And you wash. And you start to feel if I have it in the right. It doesn't matter if it's in the wrong order, but it should be in the right order. And you wash and you take another 3 drops. Om Keshavaya Namaha. And you take another 3. And you wash. And take another 3 and you serve. Om Govindaya Namaha. Have we covered all the 3 mantras? Narayana Namaha. Yeah. But it's I do it so quickly, I do it so mechanically, hundreds of times a week, and it just comes naturally. But when I have to teach it, I have to think, which mantra comes next? But Ajman is important. Then after Ajman, what do we do? Those who have deities, put up your hands. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I'm in good company. See, you have deities as well. Oh, Lord Jagannath. Is that right? Jagannath, yes. Very special deity. You cannot worship the deity directly. You cannot approach Krishna directly. You can and you cannot. But if you know the standard, you shouldn't. So who do we go through? We go through the spiritual master and we go through the parampara. And why do we do that? Because the spiritual master will purify the service and hand it over to the parampara. The parampara will hand it over to Krishna. You could chant prayers to the spiritual master as well. And then you can start the puja. But you first have to know what is Muchi and Suchi. So let's play this game. So I will say, or I'll read out a situation. You just have to say Suchi or Muchi. Touching the nose. Muchi. Why did it take so long? You should have done this immediately. You've got deities at home. It should have been like that. Muchi. Okay, let's hear. Drinking water. Drinking water.
Muchi.
Drinking water.
Muchi.
I said it 3 times and there was only one answer. Is that Muchi or Suchi?
Muchi.
Depends on what you
It's Suchi.
Depends on.
And it's Muchi. So if you take the glass and you pour water in it and you drink sort of, don't put the pinky must be like that because you're learning English. So that's very sophisticated, I'm joking. Without touching the lips, that is Suchi. But if we just gadwa, that's Muchi. Okay? So in deity worship, sometimes you need to drink water. There's a cough, there's an itch in the throat, there's a situation, you have to drink water. You do it in the muchi, in the muchi way or suchi way? Okay, thank you. Combing the hair or touching the hair? Sitting on a chair?
Depends.
Why does it depend?
If somebody has some physical problem,
Yes.
they can. If you're good,
Yeah. I shouldn't say this, and I actually even shouldn't do that, but the devotees, they respect me as authority. And I have a chair, and that's the chair. And when I have to sit, it's always clean. If it isn't clean, I take a chadar. It should always be a wooden chadar, and you put a wooden chadar on the chair, and you can sit. So if it's a contaminated chair, it's muchi. If it's a clean chair, it should be suchi. Touching the left ear. Touching the right ear. Suchi. Why is it suchi? Because Lord Brahma heard the Gayatri mantra from Vishnu in the right ear. So the right ear is a suchi ear. Yes. If it is a contamination, maybe or something, so you can touch your right ear and your hand is considered pure. So that's muchi and suchi. This one is suchi, this one is muchi, which is right in there. This one is this one is muchi, this one is suchi.
how I remember I'm a right hand, I write here. I always think, oh, I write with this and this is right hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you forget.
Sweeping the floor. What do you say?
No, depend what time.
Cleansing the temple.
No, depend what time. Is it during the ceremony or before the ceremony?
You mean during the puja
Yeah.
or the deity worship?
Yeah, it has to be done before, not during the. But let's say,
Put up your hands, whoever say this is muchi. We shouldn't do it.
sweeping the floor.
Sweeping the floor of the house or the temple, but in the space of the deity, in the presence of the deity, sweeping that floor. So everyone is out. Lord is
Okay, if it's in the area of the deity worship, it is suchi.
Presence of the deity is suchi and
Outside is muchi.
Yes, this is a border case.
Yeah.
And the border case is the demarcation area of the altar. So this is your altar space, and you have a sort of something here. So on this side of the altar, it's suchi, and on this side of the altar, it's muchi.
Yeah, that's why you have to have two broom.
Here we
The
go.
broom for the deity worship should be deity worship. The broom for the outside deity worship is
Exactly. Yeah.
more host.
Okay. Touching an animal. Picking up a japamala. Sitting on a bed. Wearing socks. Why? I'm wearing socks. Am I muchi?
If it's a clean shop, it's okay.
Touching the feet.
It's also borderline. What do you say, Prabhu? I actually don't know, but my wife always argues with me that it's muchi, and I always argue with her, it's suchi, because the floor is cold, and before I go on the altar, I remove the socks and I go achman. So, is that okay?
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. But
Okay.
touching the feet is.
Yeah, but you can't put the socks back on again.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, we in Florida don't wear socks when we're doing puja. Okay. Wearing a jersey. Add clothes onto your body.
suchi definitely.
Is that muchi or suchi? So who says it's muchi?
If it's a silk and woolen cloth, it's okay. If it's a it's muchi.
Yes.
Is it a clean cloth or a muchi cloth?
Yes.
Have you gone to the bathroom?
Yes. Okay. I'll tell you what the standard is. Sometimes it's cold in the temple room and you feel really cold. You know, like if you go to the temple to Avamangalati in the winter in Brisbane, it's really very, very cold. You know, and you just have to put something. So it has to be pure wool. Wool is never contaminated. So wool, even if it's on a bed, and you remove a woolen chadar off a bed you slept on, it's considered suchi. Silk, you can wear, I think, twice or 3 times. Jute you can wear twice. Silk you can wear 3. Wool you can wear 100 times. But something that is pure cotton on the altar, you can only wear once.
How do you clean wool?
I'm sorry?
If you have a wool chadar,
Yes,
how do you wash it?
you leave it in the sun.
Yeah, wind.
Just leave it out?
It will spoil if you wash wool.
Hang it in the
You just leave it to hang dry?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
purifiers.
it goes in the sun. So that would be, that would clear up what is muchi and suchi. And this is very important in deity worship. You have to know what's clean and what's not clean. That's the basis of deity worship, cleanliness. There was once in LA, Srila Prabhupada was on the altar. He came off the altar, he said to the head pujari, "The altar is dirty." And the head pujari swept and cleaned everything. And she went on the altar, it was a flower petal. Prabhupada was so upset by that. A flower petal on the floor. Prabhupada said, "The altar is dirty." That's how serious Prabhupada was about suchi and muchi. Yeah, because it just shows the high standard, and it also shows respect for the deity, that we have to understand what is muchi and what is suchi. Okay, any questions about muchi and suchi? We want to move on to punctuality.
So you talked about cleanliness. So
Yes.
why is it muti when we clean outside of the altar? And I mean suchi I understand, but you have to clean the whole area, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have to, but to clean it after the deity worship is over. You know, so the morning I prepare, I bring my latte and all that, and if I see that floor isn't clean or something, then I will sweep it after all the puja is over, because the space has to be clean. Lord looks over the temple, but it needs to be done after the puja is over. Yeah. Flying dust come on your clothes, get contaminated, and you go back on the altar. You know, maybe some, in temple rooms there's always some hay, you know, or flat as well. It will come on you if you sweep it. And then you consider it contaminated. Yeah. In Brisbane, even if it's like a big major feast, you know, like 108, and if there's one hair on any of the offerings, we have to reject the entire offering. That's how serious it is, muchi and suchi. Everything has to be pure for Krishna. Krishna is pure. Everything has to be pure. Any other questions?
Yeah, now coming to the home deity worship
Yes.
and temple deity worship. I know that the temple is very strict. I'm sure you will talk about that later, but I just want people not to get panic and they said, okay, better don't do anything rather than doing. Maybe you will clear it later.
Yes.
The standard, home standard versus temple standard.
Yes, I can clear that right now, because then we have some understanding. The understanding that in the temple, they install the deity. And whoever comes or resides on the property of the temple is the guest of the deity. The deity sets the standard through the head pujari, and everyone else is a guest. But in the home, the deity is the guest of the family. So the family sets the standard. I'll come to your house, I'll accept whatever you offer. I can't say, no, I don't want this kopwa, I want taupuri today. So I just have to behave and keep quiet and eat what Lalita Mataji serves me, because I'm the guest in her house. That's the same with Krishna won't complain. You set the standard, but you cannot go back on your standard. Okay? You have to stick to the standard that you set. We'll speak about that too. So in temple, we are the guest of the Lord. In the home, the Lord is the guest of the family. But there's no difference in the deity. All the deity and the home deity, Srila Prabhupada said, there's no difference.
Yeah, all Krishna, of course.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have one question.
Yes, Prabhu.
You mentioned the deity in the home is the guest, but you usually refer to the deity as the owner of the home. When we say that this home belongs to Nitai Gora Sundara, it doesn't belong to me, so then how can we consider the deity as a guest? Because they're the proprietor of the home.
Yes, because that's correct. Everything belongs to Krishna. But you, Krishna put you in care of the home. He's still a guest. He put you in care of the home. It's not your home. It's his home. He's a guest in his own home. But someone has to maintain it for him. So he puts the house, the home, the palace in your care.
So he's a guest in his own home, okay.
It's a question of consciousness. Yeah. Is that okay?
Okay,
Well, I hope it's okay. It should be okay. Okay. Let's go to punctuality.
Who has a question?
Oh, yes, yes, brother.
Oh, it's kind of like you would offer it to your deity as if you were offering it to a guest. You would do it in the same way.
Yes, because remember what Prabhupada's mood was about guests, that the guest should be treated as God. That's the understanding. I come every year to the States, and for 1 month I serve my Guru Maharaj near LA. And there was a few years ago, he said, Rachor Prabhu, a guest is coming. We have to keep everything clean. And he was picking up the devotee shoes and putting the shoes on the rack. And I ran inside to the ashram. I said to Kunti Devi, your Guru Maharaj is picking up your shoes. Go quickly. And he was sweet. And the guest came. It was an 18-year-old Bhakta from Los Angeles. A schoolboy. But my Guru Maharaj made such a fuss. He said, a guest is coming. Everything has to be. So he understood Prabhupada's, a cultural heritage, that a guest is as good as God. Guest is as good as Krishna. He's a guest, but he's God. Yeah. And they know how to treat guests. Him and his wife, they know how to treat guests. You can learn from him. Okay. Any other questions? So this first principle of cleanliness, very important. When there is cleanliness, automatically everything else follows, because you learn the discipline. And it applies to the other two principles, or it strengthens the other two principles. Like you have a table with 3 legs. I've seen tables with 3 legs. You break one leg, the other two is completely weakened. So, if all 3 principles are well followed, you have a very sturdy table. So, cleanliness is a very strong leg of the table. If you pursue cleanliness, the other 2 principles comes automatically. Yeah. Punctuality. What is punctuality? Who knows? How do we understand punctuality?
Set the timing for Aarti, doing Aarti.
I'm sorry.
At fixed time doing the arti.
Not only Arti, offering.
Yes.
On time.
Yes, okay.
Only Aarti?
Even offering bhoga.
Only Bhoga?
Clean, wake up.
Only wake up? Everything has to be on time. Okay? Everything punctuality. Punctuality means promptness. That everything should be at time. At home. And it's set according to what you can, what allows you to do. For instance, if you work, and you work till 5, and you come home at 6, you need to change, you need to quickly have something to eat maybe, so you can do RT at 7. So that promptness, that RT has to be done at 7 every day. You cannot be 5 minutes late. Even with the home worship, you cannot be 5 minutes late. When I joined in Bangladesh in 1984, at the Pujari room, on the altar, we had a sheet. And the Pujari had to clock on the sheet the time he went on the altar. And when he came off the altar, he had to clock the time. If he was 1 minute out, it was an issue. If it was later, then, I don't know, 5 minutes, they made the whole temple fast. Nobody was allowed to eat. Because they made Krishna wait 5 minutes for his worship. It's that serious. The whole temple had to, I remember that, the whole temple had to fast. But then I went down to the Gaushala, and there's always mango sweets for the cows, and I saw one and I took one. But I was young devotee. I'm talking about 30 years ago. But that's how serious it is. That you can't be 5 minutes late.
Okay, this again is for home or for temple?
This is for deity at home and at the temple. Punctuality applies, it's absolute. It's punctuality. So you set the standard and you follow that standard. And if you can't follow the standard, you do manasa puja. You run in late in the car, you start the arti. You get all the while you're driving, in the mind, you get the paraphernalia together and you start doing the arti. You do manasa puja. But you can't change the standard. But you set the standard. Lord's happy if you set the standard.
I heard one definition of punctuality, and punctuality is a practical demonstration of respect.
I was going to come, that's absolutely, yes. It's respect. It's just, this in Australia irritates me. It's really lack of respect and unpunctuality. So, not so much with a dentist, but with a GP. They gave me an appointment online, and the appointment is 12:05. So I go at 12 because I clock it on the screen, and then I sit. So I allow 12 minutes or so. Anyway, I allow a few minutes after 12:05 because you have to be flexible. And sometimes the doctor is 30 minutes late on my appointment. Sometimes, her name is Poppy. She's an Indian doctor. She comes from India. Sometimes she's 1 hour late. So I excuse Poppy because she's Indian. But when a Western doctor do that, I'm furious. You can't tell a patient your appointment is 12 o'clock and she only calls you into the room at 1 o'clock. It's very, very disrespectful. Although we know how they operate, But I just think it's so disrespectful. That's the same applies to Bhagavan. It's disrespectful. You make an appointment with the Lord for 7, you can do the arti, you rock up blase at 7:30. Drag your foot to the kitchen, have a laddu maybe, take your bath, come out. Lord, I'll be ready now, I'm going to get charar. It's very disrespectful. It's so disrespectful. Punctuality means promptness. What does prompt mean? Paka. Prompt means on time. When that clock strikes 12, you're there. It's like that. So everything should be on time. according to the feasibility of the time you had set. Don't set the time you can't offer the Lord. That's chore. Set a time that you know is practical. And as I said, if you can't make that time, do manasa puja while you're driving. You know, there's often, I'm at home and the phone rings. It's the pujari who has to do the aarti at 7. It's already 5:30. The pujari will phone me and say, Prabhu, there's such a traffic jam. It's never happened on this road before. I don't know what the problem is. It's better you get ready and do the aarti. Yeah, so that's good. I get ready, I go, I stand. Oh, and then there pujari come. So it's fine. But it's just, you have to have a backup. Phone your wife, you know. Get the stuff ready for me. Or start the aarti. If you have children who can do the aarti, tell them, get ready, Papa is late. Get things ready for me, please. You have a guest, and you have a VIP guest. You have to be prompt. But if you are late, and you can't do anything else, please just apologize to Lord. Just apologize and say, oh my Shishikoli, I'm so sorry, I'm late. I promise it won't happen again. I promise I won't make the same mistake again. I will make new ones. Don't make new ones.
When I first became a devotee, we traveled a lot on a bus, and the bus was the temple, Radha Damodar bus.
Oh.
So sometimes we would be up to midnight preaching.
Yeah.
4:30, RT for Radha Damodar.
That's amazing.
It didn't matter, you know.
Promptness.
Every
Respect.
you could set your watch by the conch shell, even if you were up to midnight.
They'd be there.
And you had to become master of the 30-second shower and dress.
Yeah. That just reminds me of one very essential point. In the 1980s, I joined the temple. And we got trained by Prabhupada disciples. They were so strict and they were so heavy. And that's why after 40 years, I don't look 40, but I'm 25. And that's why I'm still sitting here.
Okay, do you want me to tell his age?
I got trained by Prabhupada disciples. That was such a blessing. Now maybe there's 1 or 2 Prabhupada disciples around, you know, but they're not training, you know, as vigorously as then they had the energy. No, they had health issues and that, but we were so fortunate in the 1980s. Temples were full of Prabhupada disciples. We got trained by Prabhupada disciples. And that is such a blessing. And they got trained by Prabhupada personally, not the next door neighbor. Yes. Ask for forgiveness, and when you make mistakes, apologize to the Lord. Sometimes it happens. You light the incense and you light the lamp, and sometimes you overlook the incense and you start offering the lamp. But just after a few seconds, you realize, Acha, this is a mistake. Put down and off. Then apologize to the Lord. Oh my Lord, I'm so sorry, I made a mistake. I will offer incense. Because you will have to see Lord as a person. If you don't do that, if you don't see Him, Lord as a person, then what's the point of having a relationship with Krishna in the Acharya Vigraha? We have to keep the mind in that frame of we just have to remember the deity is Krishna. And that Prabhupada had so mercifully given us this form of deity worship to allow. Let's get to steadiness. It's sort of related to punctuality, but it's an area of its own. Prabhu, please give us a definition of steadiness in deity worship or in spiritual life.
Yeah, Patanjali gives a nice definition of sadhana. He says something which is done repeatedly, and consistently, and over a long duration of time. So that which you do repeatedly, consistently, on time, over a long duration of time.
Excellent. You all heard that? Can you repeat it?
Yes, something we are
Give him
doing.
the microphone.
Something we are doing daily, regularly, and at a proper time, punctuality, following punctuality, and over a long period of time.
Oh, that's important. That is done over a long period of time. Yeah. Excellent. Steadiness is the quality of being regular, continuous, that's over a long period of time, and fixed in deity worship. To be steady, you need to be sincere and loyal. Okay? You must be reliable and constant. Constant means everything you do, you just have to show up without skipping. Means you do it like kada, constant. Yeah. Whether it's a storm, whether it's COVID, whether sky is falling. Steadiness is about having the endurance to keep performing the services, even when things get tough. What does that mean? That can mean so many things, but in a home it can mean there's issue in the family, there's, a sickness in the patient. You have to be a carer of someone, there's some urgent situation. It won't happen here, but some part of the house, an accident happened, a heater was left on, half the house had burned down maybe, but you still go and do the IT. Constant. There's emergency situation in the home, but you just constantly, you keep going. Okay? Steadiness means that you are regular in the puja or the services. And another point I always tell my pujaris, so from Monday to Friday, from Monday to Sunday, from morning to night, in our temple, we only have one altar, so it's quite easy for us to manage the worship. And all the services from morning to night, we have 40 pujaris who comes in through the week. See? So, but I tell them, and I instill it in them, you own the service. You're not coming here to do me a favor. You're not coming here out of duty because Guru Maharaj said you should do one service at the temple a week and help out the Hare Krishna temple. They have to own the service. What is ownership? What does ownership mean? It's yours. The onus rests on you. So you have to own the service when you accept the service. That is steadiness. One devotee asked Prabhupada about steadiness, and Prabhupada responded like this. Prabhupada said, 75%, or when 75% of impurities in the heart are eradicated, then the devotee achieves a certain level of spiritual steadiness. But we can say, but I only have 2% purification in the heart, so it doesn't include me, so I can be excluded from that definition of steadiness. Two has to happen at the same time. The steadiness and the purification runs on the same tracks. You have to become steady and you have to become pure at the same time. The steadiness will create purity, and the purity will create steadiness. I was speaking to Tamar Krishna Maharaj. So when 75% of impurities in the heart is eradicated, then the devotee achieves a certain level of spiritual steadiness, and he becomes steady in his service. Steady means doing the puja every day without fail. And Prabhupada here did not say temple worship or home worship. He's speaking about the process of archana. He's speaking about the process of deity worship. Okay? Sometimes we think, oh, but it isn't the mandir, it's my home. I can do what I like. You can't play around with Bhagavan. You can't play around with Krishna. You have to take it seriously. Because it's not your home. So Krishna stripped you already. It's not your home. It's his home. He gives you, he puts you in charge. No skipping, no whimsical mood. Like, your papa fatigue moi. sorry, I translate. I'm tired today, fatigue-wise. I'm tired today, you know, I'll do the puja sometime later. We can't be whimsical. That's whimsical. Whimsical has to go right out of the window. As soon as a deity comes into the home, there's so many stuff that he has to run out of the door. And you say, Haribo, don't come back. Whimsical is one of it. Haribo, chalo, chalo. We have Lord here now. You can't come in here. No skipping. It's like one day I will do, another day I will skip. You have to be steady and regular. Okay, so that's the three main principles of deity worship. You have to write that down in your heart. What's the first one? Everybody, what's the first one?
Cleanliness.
Second?
Punctuality.
Third? Steadiness. Yeah. Not only for deity, but for your whole spiritual life. You have to practice it.
Even in daily life,
Yeah, chanting around.
whatever.
Exactly. You have understood Prabhupada's message. Thank you, sir. Any questions before we move on? As to the... How much time do we have? I can start. She wants to
We like to start the
Another-
around 4:08. Like that is exactly between 7:30 to 4:08 we should start the arti.
Okay, that's fine. I'm happy. Yes. So I will mumble. I mumble quickly and then we can stop. Just,
May I make two comments?
yes, please.
The first one, the one you said, quoting Prabhupada on the 75% of the heart and then steadiness. And the reason for that is that the effects of anartha
I remember reading that.
the
Yes.
effects of anartha
Anarthas.
are minimized, and the power of devotion.
I'm sorry. You can all hear this? You can all hear what Prabhu is saying? It's very important. Okay.
Yeah, that's so the effects of anartha minimized. Anartha means dirty things within the heart, unwanted things within the heart. Minimized, and the effect of devotional power is so much stronger that it creates steadiness. And the second thing, I don't know if you've heard this, but when I first joined, Prabhupada told us 4 things in deity worship.
Oh.
He said, that's why I got stuck, because you said 3 and I was like stuck. What was the third? Because I knew you weren't referring to steadiness, cleanliness, and then if you have the facility, opulent prasadam and opulent deity.
Yes.
If you have, in other words, if you are,
Yes.
not able to, then,
Yes.
huh?
According to
According to your means, like Shruti Dev and Bahulasva, right? When
Yes,
Krishna went to
exactly.
see Shruti.
Yeah. You worship the deity according to your means.
Right, but if you have means,
You should use it.
you can't be creeping on.
No. Yes.
So it's too-
Yeah, that's been true. Yeah. Krishna don't see what you offer, Krishna see what you hide. And Krishna see what you hold back. Krishna don't see what you give. Oh, beautiful offering. Oh, look, you make so much dal. So beautiful dal. But Krishna sees what you don't give. That's what Krishna sees. We won't complain, but remember, we all have spiritual bank balances. Important. Okay, I've got 10 minutes left. I've got 9 minutes left. What we wanted to do, we wanted to sort of extend into a more lighter mood and sort of pleasant mood. We're going to tell some stories that will increase our faith when we follow the principles. In other words, when we please the deities, the deity reciprocates. So I want to tell stories of Krishnas or deities that have reciprocated with the pujaris. See, when we love Krishna so much, Krishna gives back. I mean, we only have 2 hands, but when Krishna gives back, how much can we take with 2 hands? And when Krishna takes away from us, how much can we hold with 2 hands? We can't. We just have to surrender. Okay, so the first story.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, yes.
It's a very vague question, but I hope you don't mind commenting on it. So one thing is, we call it dharma. There is a religion, there is a way of life. So what is the connection and what is the difference between these three terminologies? Dharma, religion in English, dharma in general,
Yeah,
and a way of life.
yeah.
Well, what is the difference? Can you comment?
Well, there's all the classes of devotees, the brahmanas, the kshatras. They all have their own dharmas. See, so practically in India, every home thing, they have a certain dharma. But we have to follow sastra, guru. We have to follow the scripture and the spiritual master. Do you want to add on to that, Prabhu?
Oh, sadhu.
And sadhu.
Sadhu, shastra.
Yeah, yeah. Put dharma out of the door. He can also go. Our dharmas all has to go. Because we all have our own dharma, you know. But guru, sadhu, and sastra, we follow that principles. And then we will have pure dharma. Because there's impure dharma, or there's, self-motivated dharma. There's also scriptural dharma. There's Shatya dharma, there's Vaishya dharma, there's Brahma dharma. The cows have dharma, dogs have dharma, everything is dharma. We have to follow these principles. And that would be considered pure dharma, scriptural dharma.
Sometimes we are confused with that, like I was in some Buddhist gathering,
Yeah.
and there was a debate as to whether Buddhism is a religion or way of life. And I said, I already learned that it's a kind of religion, but they told me that it's not religion, it's a way of life. So that's why I was kind of confused, what's going on. Also for Hinduism, they say the same thing.
Judaism also. Judaism, they say it's not just a religion, it's an entire way of life, way of being.
Yeah.
So I think
Good way of being, of course.
Yeah.
Also, Krishna consciousness is a way of it's a way of life. It's not just quote unquote religion, because it's how we practice our entire life. So basically, it is a way of life.
Actually, if you want to say religion is a man-made thing, if you take from anyways, it's a big topic. You can go hours in that, but just so that you can continue with the story. The real dharma come from the Vedic culture.
Right.
We don't have a time when it was existed, because at the time of creation, it came as a package. Let's say when you buy a TV, you get a manual. When the earth was created, you get the 4 Vedas. This is the dharma of earth. Now, in time, there was many religions that has changed the culture.
There are variations.
Yeah, this is another topic, very deep. Maybe we can talk about that in a different class.
Yeah, right.
I just want to add one thing. There's Sat Dharma and Asat Dharma. There's Dharma when you're acting according to the modes of material nature, as Prabhu was saying. If you are Brahmin, then you are acting, and according to Sattva Gun. If you're Kshatriya, then so there's Sat Dharma, Asat Dharma. So for a Vaishnava, one who is a devotee, then Sanatan Dharma is our goal. That means the eternal Dharma, which is constitutional position, is service to the Supreme Lord. That's why Prabhupada said, for a Vaishnava, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Sudra, Vaishya, it doesn't make any difference. They can act in any capacity, because everything, and you look at the Alwars, for instance, in South India, you look in our Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava history, you have Kolovich Sridhar, who was very poor, but then you have Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who was so wealthy he sat on a golden throne, had a golden spittoon, he was so wealthy. Both of them were Vaishnavas. Both of them were, whatever they did, Yat Karoshi, Yadashnasi, Yat Yahosi Didasi, whatever they did for Krishna. So they weren't acting according to the temporary dharma of Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya. They were acting according to the dharma of a Vaishnava, which means everything is Krishna's, everything we offer to Krishna.
So,
We just, I want to ask the audience to help me with this. We want to tell us some stories about murtis, the reciprocating with pujaris or the creative bodies. Because when you hear these stories, it increases your faith. And it's sweet stories, and you see the deity as a person. Who knows the whole story of HG Rachor Prabhu? Okay, so please tell that story for us.
No,
I got
you
it.
tell.
I got
I
it.
speak too much.
Okay, I have other stories for you to tell. I got this. Yeah.
Sure, Gopinath.
I'll give you. I'll give you a sweet one.
Okay.
Okay. Briefly.
Yeah, but this
I'll tell you
is
short.
a very detailed story, but
No,
just quick.
Briefly.
Quick.
That's it. Use the microphone.
The essence of the story is when somebody says something, you have to keep your word. Okay? There was a brahmana that was poor, and there was another brahmana that was not so poor and old. Okay? The brahmana that was old, when they went on a pilgrimage, he was, when you get old, you cannot walk, you need assistance. This young brahmana helped the older brahmana to go through the pilgrimage. And this old brahmana, he was very happy with the service that the younger brahmana gave to him. And then he made a promise, because he was so happy with him, and he was thinking, what can I give him? And he said that in his heart he was thinking, in his mind, that I have a daughter that I want to give this brahmana in marriage. And then he told the younger brahmana, and the younger brahmana said he was never expected that type of gift, because to give your daughter to somebody that the daughter hasn't even seen, it's something very not sure. But then he asked him, are you really sure you want to give your daughter to me? Are you sure? Then the brahmana he said, yes, because my daughter, she will accept. And then he said, okay, if you're giving me that gift, but I want you to give your word in front of the deity. And this deity was a Krishna deity, a very beautiful deity. And the deity, goes in front, and the older brahmana said, I vow that I will give my daughter to this gentleman here as a gift, And then they both go their ways. And when the older brahmana goes back home, and now the older brahmana has brothers, has of course wife, and then the older brahmana told the girl and the family that this younger brahmana has helped me a lot, and I promise that I will give my daughter to him. Oh, they all said, oh, we don't know, he's very poor, blah, blah, blah. No, we don't accept that. Now the older brahmana become very agitated in his mind that he's not keeping his word, and what is happening? Actually, they convince him that the younger brahmana is not up to the level to give the daughter, and he tried to accept that after some time. And that younger brahmana was so happy that he will get that beautiful lady from a Brahmanical family. But he was waiting, and then he went there too, because for him also, because it's a vow taken in front of the deity, and now he's getting agitated also. Even though the older brahmana also trying to get, convinced that he should not give, but this younger brahmana now is getting agitated, and he went there in that village and asked what happened. And then the older brahmana said, no, I forgot. I never tell you that, because there other people is putting thing in his mind, saying that, tell him that. You never said that. Okay, to make a long story short, now, who is a witness? Then, because he was a brahmana, and he did not have even faith in the deity, because he made a promise in front of a deity, now he's not upholding his word. Now, everybody say, this younger Brahmana, you are a fool, you blah blah blah, you're a cheater, you're lying. Because this older Brahmana, he is like at a certain level that everybody will believe him. And now he said, no, I tell, the promise was given in front of Sakshi Gopal. They said, no, not Sakshi Gopal, in front of Gopal. And what? Let's go and talk to Sakshi Gopal, and he will tell you. They all laugh. Oh, how a deity will talk? How a deity will they all said, this is nonsense. And then he said, okay, I will go there and tell Gopal to come. You don't want to go? We will bring Gopal here. Gopal will talk. They all laugh. He said, you're crazy. How a deity will come? How a deity will talk? Look, even though they are Brahmana, they're doing worship, but they don't have faith in the deity. And then Krishna, what Krishna did, this younger Brahmana went there and talked to Krishna and tell Krishna, you see, you are my Gopal, but they don't believe in you, and you heard exactly what this promise. Now everybody thinks that I am a liar, I am this, I am that, I just want to have the daughter and the wealth. I think maybe she was a sole daughter also. But Gopal, you are the only one who can help me. Please come. And then Gopal said, okay, I will come on one condition. When I walk, you don't look back, but I will come. But now, how he will know that Krishna is coming, is walking behind him? Krishna said, don't worry, I have my ankle bell, you will hear my ankle bell. And then you will hear them walking behind you, but don't look back. And then Gopal say, okay, you go, I will follow you. And then they start walking, but coming close to that village, he did not hear the ankle bell ching, 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 ching on the, when you walk, like your little daughter was wearing. And now he don't hear, like when they were become close to the town, to the village, whatever. Then he just turned at the back and looked at Gopal, and Gopal said, I told you not to look at me. But now Gopal said, I won't move, I will stand here. Bring the others. And then he goes, maybe Krishna made an arrangement that he doesn't want to go in that village, because these people, they don't believe in him. Why he has to go there? But he stopped in front of that village, and then, because they know that there was no Krishna here, the whole village, the whole people come here, and when they saw that deity, they said, oh, this boy is a genuine Brahmana. He has more faith than us. Rather than we was thinking that he's a liar, he wants just the wealth, he wants the daughter, then the deity talk actually. But anyway, because the deity came, they all already know that this boy is not a liar, and somehow or other they accept to give that girl in marriage to that boy. And from till now, I think this Sakshi, the name has changed into Gopal, becomes Sakshi Gopal. Sakshi means witness. Okay, and this is, till now, this deity is still there.
Yeah.
Jai Sakshi Gopal ki Jai. There's another very beautiful story about Radha Brahmana. Do you know the story? It's a little small one.
Yeah.
Gopal Bhatta
Gopal
Goswami.
Bhatta
Please tell the
Goswami.
story.
He was doing regular puja to a Shalagram Shila.
Yes.
And his devotion was so pure. I'll make it very short. His devotion was so pure to Shalagram because he was desiring to actually worship the form. Because Shalagram is basically a stone. Yeah, Lord comes in. But his desire was so strong to worship the form of Krishna that one morning he woke up and that form had manifested into the beautiful form of Radha Raman. A beautiful form of Krishna, threefold bending form of Krishna. And you can go there today in Vrindavan, and the beautiful deity there, and they offer really nice sweet grubbery, and the prasad of Radha Raman is very famous, the rubbery. You give a donation, they give you. But I don't know if you mentioned this with the Shakshi Gopal story, that when the Brahmin went to the deity, and maybe you did, I was thinking of Madhavendra Puri actually, Church Gopinath, when we were talking, so I'm sorry. But I don't know if you mentioned, and you might have, but when the Brahmin approached the deity, and he said, you have to be my witness. And the deity said, I'm a deity, how can I be your witness? And the Brahmin said to him, if you can talk, you can walk. That's like my favorite part of the story. So,
HG Rachor But he's beautiful. He's this big and he's beautiful.
He has teeth as well. The only deity I've seen in the whole world that has teeth.
So where is it located?
It's in Vrindavan.
Vrindavan.
It's a self-manifesting deity.
Anybody know the story of Banki Bihari in Vrindavan?
I know little bit.
Okay, please tell the little bit and we'll tell the other little bit.
I know the story why they closed the curtains.
That's the story, yes.
Yeah, there was a very, very pure devotee of Lord Krishna, and he had come to take the darshans of the Lord. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And he was so in love with the Lord that when he started going back, the deity followed him. I don't know exact context of what did, but the deity started following him. And these pujaris, they were saying, oh, the deity is already fallen. And so from there they got scared, so that's why they only get 1 second darshan, because they don't want somebody else to come in so much that the Lord starts running away. So I just know a little bit, but you can add on to that.
There's another story as well. Very interesting. So this is a very famous temple in Vrindavan. I've been to the Mangala Aarti a few times. It's always 400 or 500 people. They're beautiful Mangala Aarti. And every 2 minutes, they close the curtain. They open the darshan, they close the curtain. And the understanding is that once they have, this is a very playful deity. He plays games and in devotees' dreams. So once there is a roaring kirtan in the temple room late at night. And the kirtan was so inviting, Banki Bihari jumped off the altar and came to join the kirtan. And the pujari said, they will think we are pagala. Go back on the altar. They think we're pagala, we're dancing here with you. Go back. And they went back. And ever since they've kirtan, they just open and close quickly because they're scared and he's going to come back. But he's nice and chubby, he's got 3 bending, specific 3. He's the only deity in Vrindavan without a flute. Banki means flute.
Bhakya means
slanted,
like.
In 3 bending.
Oh yes, it means Tribanga. Yeah, he's without a flute. Okay, so we did Dauji. We still have to do Dauji. Anybody knows the story of Dauji? Anybody want to tell the story of Dauji? So in Nedivan, there was one of the few mandirs that only had a murti of Lord Balaram. Only Balaram, no Krishna, only Balaram. Very few temples in the world only has a Balaram. It's always Krishna Balaram or something. And the pujari was very dedicated. He had served this deity, he had served Lord Balaram for many, many, many years. And he was starting to grow old, like us, we get back problem, the sugar goes up, and all blood pressure, all kinds of things. But he had all his problems, ailments. Old people, when you grow older, you have. And he was feeling very sad. He couldn't stand up, and he became crooked, age, crooked, bad. He couldn't dress the deity properly and put all the bucket on properly, and he was really feeling sad, praying to the deity, oh my Lord, I can't serve him properly because age had kept him. And one day, he got on the altar and the deity sat down, cross-legged. So he could dress the deity perfectly and he was so happy. And the deity became known as Tauji. Yeah, so if you go to Nederwan in Vrindavan, he's still there, the deity's still there, and he's still cross-legged. So keep serving, and you will see how the Lord will reciprocate. There's one very, very interesting story. Prabhu, do you know the story about in Mayapur, outside of Mayapur, there is a little mandir in Rajapur, Lord Jagannath mandir.
Oh, yeah.
You know the story about the mango thieves?
Yeah, they go.
Who knows the story about the mango thieves?
I heard a little bit when I was there. They say
Yeah, they
ran
told me
away.
the
They
story.
ran away from the altar to enjoy mangoes, and then come back and they have all mouths with mangoes and surrounded, around the mouth.
Yes. Yes, but next door
Next door.
is a mango orchard, but it's owned by a Muslim farmer.
Yeah.
He never understood the deity and all that. But every night, two boys would enter his orchard, steal mangoes and jump over the fence, and they would run in the direction of the temple. It happened a few times. So he got fed up. And he went to the neighbors and says, you've got two boys that live here. They choose every night they come and they steal my mangoes. And the priest said to him, but where's the proof? We don't have any proof. So then, this night, he saw the boys again, stealing mangoes. And they ran, jumped the fence, but the cloth got hooked onto the wire of the fence. And they ran in towards the temple. So he took that piece of cloth, he went at the property, the mandir, and he showed the Pujari, I've got evidence that someone that lives here stole the mangoes. And they ran over, jumped over the fence, and the Pujari went through the wardrobe. Lord Jagannath had a perfect piece of cloth missing from his donkey. And they just matched it up, and it was Lord Jagannath. He was stealing the mangoes all the time. They're very, very beautiful stories.
I have a real quick one.
Yeah, please. This is nectar. Oh, I love this.
Sanatana Goswami was very old, and he served his deity Madan Mohan. Even he was very old. So he would cook for the deities. We make preparations for the deities. So when he would make chapatis, he would just roll it in a ball and throw it into the fire and take it out of the fire. So one time the deities said to, Madan Mohan said to Sanatana Goswami, you're giving me dry chapati all the time. He said, can you put a little salt on it, please? At least give it a little flavor. And Sanatana Goswami said, I'm an old man. This is what I can give you, you please take it. So the deity had to succumb to Sanatana Goswami because he was so pure. And that's how Sanatana Goswami actually got the funds to build a temple, because later Sanatana Goswami helped a salt merchant on the river. He got caught on the river and he helped him by... Yes. And the end result was the salt merchant was able to get free, and he told Sanatana Goswami, he said, look, I will come back and I'll build you a temple when I sell all of mine. And that's what he did. He went, he sold, he made lots of money, he built Madan Mohan's temple. So it was all a ploy by Madan Mohan to get a nice place, because Sanatana Goswami wasn't able to do it with him. But I like, because he can only roll his hands, he was very old, and he could only roll it, basically, and you just throw a lump of dough into the fire, and the deity said, just a little bit of salt.
I just want to add something about the Jagannath deity in Mayapur. same deity. The pujari there was getting old as well. It's a family temple, and of course ISKCON temple is not far from there. And of course in ISKCON temple they were offering opulent prasadam. And you know Jagannath eat a lot. In Jagannath Puri they eat I think maybe 22 meals per day, something like that. And you know the Jagannath brothers were saying, you know, you have to feed us more. There they are giving Krishna opulent prasadam. Here we're getting very like, yeah, the poor, not like wealthy temple. Then Pujari said, this is what we can give. We cannot afford all these opulence that they have there. Every day the Pujari was getting dream from the deities asking for opulent prasad, opulent prasad. And one day the Pujari said, you know what, we cannot afford this. And he went actually to ISKCON and asked ISKCON Jayapatak Swami, who was in charge at that time. They asked them, you know, please take over the temple. And then the Brahmana, they gave the whole temple as donation to ISKCON. And then now ISKCON is managing the temple, cooking very nice prasadam to the satisfaction of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. But this is a reciprocation of deity to the pujari. And there are many pujaris that can tell you stories, even from the Nrsingadev deity in Mayapur. There is so many stories about how the deity come in the dream, and even some has scratch on their body. Okay, this is another lengthy lila, what we can say about that.
I'd like to add one more story about the Jagannath deity in Mayapur. This is very funny. This one Muslim guy came once there, and the pujari gave prasadam, you know. So of course, you know, Muslims are anti, you know, or whatever, Hinduism, whatever. So he took that prasadam, threw it away. I don't want to eat this prasadam. So Lord behold, at night, Jagannath came and bashed him up really good, you know. Baldev first beat him up really good. And Jagannath didn't want to do it, but Baldev said, beat him up. And so Subhadra said, yeah, beat him up. Jagannath said, no. So beat him up. So then next day he came, please give me that prasad.
He had a habit of beating up one dream, I think it was Kumbarik Vijayanidhi, right? He punched him in the face. When he woke up, his cheeks were all red and swollen.
Because he said that they should not put the clothes, right?
Right, the cloth. Yeah, there's something about the cloth that
which is not washed.
Right, it wasn't washed, right.
Also, there's a story about Ramanujacharya. He said the deity, you know, they are offering starch clothes to the deities, and that's not the standard. They have to be washed and all that. So he was trying to set the standard of the deity worship in Jagannath Puri, but Lord Jagannath didn't like it, and lo and behold, he wake up in the morning, he got transported from Jagannath Puri all the way back to the south, right?
Yes.
Yeah, even Sri Rangam, no, the whole deity about what Vibhishan, he was taken, the same way the deity is now, it's all about reciprocation as well. Lord Ram gave his own deity, and then Vibhishan took it at one point in time. He wanted to stay there, he stayed there. Many stories like that.
And Krishna is a thief too. He's called the butter thief. So in Ramuna, in Odisha, Madhavendra Puri went there, and I'll make it really short, I promise. He went there to see the deity. The deity was famous because they offered him really nice kheer, which I was very fortunate to have. And when Madhavendra Puri, he was watching the offering and everything, he was thinking about the kheer. I wonder how it tastes. But he wasn't thinking about how it tastes for himself. He was thinking about his own deity. And as soon as he caught himself, oh, what an offender. So he went away, he went into the marketplace, and he just fasted. So that night the pujari, the deity woke him up and he said, I have stolen the offering, the kheer offering. It is behind my dress. So take that and give it to Madhavendra Puri. He's in the marketplace. So the pujari wakes up, he goes into the deity. Lo and behold, he picks up the dress of the deity. There's the pot of kheer. He takes the pot of kheer. Madhavendra Puri, where are you? Madhavendra Puri was fasting, and he's just sitting under a tree. And finally, Madhavendra Kapoor said, I'm here, why are you yelling my name? He said, Gopinath want me to give this to you. So we went there when I was a brahmachari in 1976. I went there, and we also heard that the kheer was amazing. So we bought big pots of kheer, and we had rented a little cabin because the temple rents little places where you can sit. There was about 10 brahmacharis. We were all crammed in this little cabin. And we were sitting on the porch with these each one of us bought a big pot of kheer. Now, according to tradition, everyone just buys a little pot, like this. Like 1 rupee, 2 rupee. We bought these big pots, and we were all sitting there with a big pot. We looked, the whole town of Ramuna was sitting around where we were eating the kheer. And I asked my friend, I said, why are they staring at us? And Bhagavat said to me, he said, because they think we are great sadhus, because only a sadhu could eat that much kheer.
About the Radha Rama temple, Prabhu, you were speaking about the
Rubbery.
speciality of the rabri. Now, that rabri originated 500 years ago, and that same fire that they did the first rabri on is still burning.
Yeah.
Yes. If you go behind the Radha Rama, is the kitchen. And you give some rupees to the pujari, we'll show you the fire. The fire is burning 500 years. They keep making the rabri, and they stop the fire up all the time. We have to end here. This, our pujari wants to do that. Our beloved, very strict pujari is giving me the looks. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Are you happy?
Yes, very happy.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasarine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Asakti Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare
Jayam Shripad Paramahamsa Parikarajakacharyastu Parasata Sri Sriman. His Divine Loving Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Shripad Paramahamsa Parikarajakacharyastu Parasata Sri Sriman. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Parinda Ki Nam Acharya Thakur Haridas Ki Sri Sri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Sri Guru Sri Gauranga Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Shri Shri Nishina Bhagavan Ki Namaste Krishna
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे ब्राह्मणी वैष्णवे स्वल्पा पुण्यावतंदाजान विश्वासो नैव जयते सरिया विद्याजान रोतेन्द्रियताये काल दिवे पेले विषय सागरे सारा मध्य जीवाति लोभा मोह सुदुर्मति साके जे खततिना संसारे कृष्णवार दोयमो गोरी बारे जीवन राम साधन अनदिलबाई नीना मित्रपा राधा कृष्ण गुना प्रेमे दाखो श्री चैतन्य जय निताय जय निताय जय श्री